All right, so we've talked about the computer's brain, the CPU, and its artistic soul, the GPU. But today, we're diving into something just as vital for your day-to-day experience, the unsung hero of your computer's speed, RAM. Okay, I want you to picture this. You've got the world's fastest chef. I mean, this guy is a culinary legend, dicing and cooking at light speed. But, and this is a huge but, he has no workbench. See, in our little story, the CPU is that master chef, and all the ingredients, all your data, are stored way over in the pantry, which is your computer's hard drive. So every single time the chef needs an onion, a dash of salt, anything, he has to drop what he's doing, sprint over to the pantry, find it, and sprint back. What's the point of all that speed if you spend all your time just waiting? It's a total waste, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening inside your computer when a powerful CPU is stuck waiting for a slow hard drive. So what's the fix? It's actually pretty obvious when you think about it. You give the chef a personal workbench, a spot right next to him where he can keep everything he needs for the job at hand. And in the world of computers, that essential workbench has a name, RAM. It stands for Random Access Memory. And yeah, the memory part is pretty straightforward. It just means it holds data. But that random access part, oh, that's where the magic really happens. That's its superpower. So what does random access actually mean? It means our chef, our CPU, can grab any ingredient from any spot on his workbench, and it takes the exact same unbelievably short amount of time. He needs an onion from the front left corner? Boom, he's got it. Needs that knife from the back right? Just as fast. Instant. No more wasted trips to the pantry. Everything is right there, ready to go. Okay, let's bring this back to your computer. When you click on an icon, let's say Photoshop, your computer basically tells the chef, hey, time to get to work. So the first thing that happens is the recipe and all the ingredients for Photoshop get pulled from the pantry, your hard drive, and laid out neatly on the workbench, your RAM. And from that point on, your CPU can just fly because everything it needs is literally at its fingertips. Now, there's one really important thing you've got to know about this workbench. It's what we call volatile. And that's just a fancy way of saying that at the end of the day, when you turn your computer off, the workbench gets wiped completely clean. Poof, everything on it is gone. That's why RAM is temporary storage. It's just a workspace for what you're doing right here, right now. All right, so it's pretty clear this workbench is essential. But, not all workbenches are the same. When you're picking one out for your computer, its quality really boils down to 3 key specs. First up, you've got capacity, measured in gigabytes. This is simple. It's the size of your workbench. The bigger the bench, the more ops you can have open at once without things getting crowded and slow. Next is frequency, in megahertz. Think of this as how fast your kitchen helpers are. So higher is definitely better. And finally, you have latency, or CL. This is the helper's reaction time. For this one, a lower number is what you want. You want a helper who's not just fast, but also snaps to attention instantly. So that brings up the big question. How much workbench space do you really need? Well, for everyday tasks like browsing and email, 8 gigabytes is often fine. But if you're a gamer or you're like me and have about 50 browser tabs open at all times, you're going to feel a huge difference with at least 16 gigs. And for the really heavy-duty stuff like pro video editing or 3D modeling, 32 gigs or even more is pretty much essential to keep things from grinding to a halt. And this is so important to understand. The best performance isn't just about getting the biggest number in one category. It's all about finding that perfect sweet spot, that balance between a high frequency, your fast helpers, and a low latency, their super quick reaction time. Because think about it, what good is a helper who can run at the speed of light if it takes them 5 seconds just to realize you asked for something? It's that combination that makes a system feel truly snappy. And just to add another layer here, these workbenches have gotten better and better over the years. Like with any great tech, they've gone through different generations, each one a real leap forward. You'll see these names floating around, DDR3, DDR4, and DDR5. That DDR just stands for double data rate. Basically a technical way of saying they're really efficient. But the main thing to know is that each new generation is faster and more advanced than the last. DDR4 has been the standard for years, but DDR5 is the new kid on the block, and man, is it fast. Okay, Pay attention, because this might be the single most important thing to remember if you're ever building or upgrading a PC. These generations, they are not compatible with each other. A stick of DDR5 RAM will not physically fit in a motherboard made for DDR4. The little notch on the stick is in a different place, so you absolutely 100% have to make sure your RAM generation matches what your motherboard supports. No exceptions. All right, let's do a quick recap. 1. RAM is your computer's super fast temporary workbench. 2. Capacity, those gigabytes, determines your multitasking power. 3. Real speed is all about that balance between high frequency and low latency. And 4, and I'll say it again because it's that important, generations like DDR4 and DDR5 are not interchangeable. We've established that the chef, the CPU, and the workbench, your RAM, are all critical. But what about the pantry itself, the place where all your files, games, and memories are stored for good? In our next explainer, we're heading into that storeroom to see how the old mechanical hard drives stack up against the new champions of speed, solid-state drives. Stay curious.